Suddenly, in a flash, the lead vehicle was hit by a rocket-propelled grenade. It veered off the road. The shrapnel, the sharp, hot, deadly pieces of metal that were produced by the explosion flew into the driver's seat of the car wherein shots, 2 shots, long range, a rifle. Was it the same man who was shooting before, or someone different? Still keen on avoiding danger, she carried on her course. Found a pair to keep her company too. A trail mark. There was a city or a village nearby. Useful information. The shrapnel flew into the driver's seat of the car wherein Alice was, comfortably seated. In a desperate attempt to avoid the incoming calamity, the driver sharply veered left. Up and over a ditch, and into a brick wall. Moments later, men began shouting, screaming. Blood dripped from her forehead. And then it began. It lasted almost 30 seconds, maybe more, but for her, it felt like a lifetime. The gunshots were muffled, as though someone was repeatedly slapping her ear as hard as they could, as fast as they could. The sound was disorienting. It wasn't the first time she had heard it, but it was the first time that she was this close to death. She felt its embrace. A strong, powerful force drew her further and further away from death's embrace. Her battered, worn, torn press vest, a ballistic vest no less, had kept her safe. And now it was the means by which her life would be saved, by her closest companion, a man she revered and respected, and whose loss she mourned, grieved, for 2 years, 2 whole years of sorrow and depression. When she recovered, she had nothing but memories and a memento. His red beret, She never liked the damn thing much. It seemed more like a symbol of ego, of bravado, a false statement. But not this one. Krasnostov. Shots. Gradually, she was getting closer and closer. Inadvertently, her desire to drift further and further away from danger was trumped, completely usurped by her inner curiosity. That headstrong reporter that lived, dwelled, burrowed deep in her conscience. She was alive, all right. Alive and kicking. North. East. She thought for a moment. Why now? Why were all these memories rushing to her now? Why now indeed? A small community hospital with a strange, dismembered and disembodied creature. These creatures were so resilient. Somehow, even after losing all their limbs, they could still survive. However, there was something strange about our heroine. Almost like they didn't care. She didn't understand. Everyone she knew complained, cried, begged and moaned, fought, and died at the hands of these creatures, but when she walked right past them, they didn't bat an eyelid. Almost like they didn't care. Almost as though her caution was nothing but an accessory. As though there was... She second-guessed herself. Her mind began racing. Could it be? It had been days since she found proper medical supplies. This was a godsend. Almost like a miracle to her. Perhaps a town far enough inland that it had not been completely looted. The residents, for the most part, seemed old. Perhaps too ignorant. Too ignorant to understand what the hell was in this place and the value that it held. The staff were dead. That was obvious enough. You see, at the beginning of the infection, everyone thought that it was cholera. But when the reports started flooding in, she knew that there was something wrong. Something very, very wrong. The death toll was too high. People were dying too quickly, too violently. Cholera doesn't make you go and eat your grandmother. Cholera doesn't make children perform patricide. Doesn't make mothers eat their own babies. This was something worse. It reminded her of her time in Algeria, following the footsteps of Dembele. They say he was a cannibal, a man-eater, a murderer. They say that in the last-ditch effort to save his own skin after his revolution failed, they say, secrets for his life, and traveled to Russia. She was pacing back and forth. Her mind was racing. She did not know what to make of the situation. She didn't even know what she wanted. Closing doors, opening doors, pacing. Her old habit. She was tense, uncomfortable, uneasy, alone.